We are preparing. We are now live streaming on YouTube. Right, so let's just find us, because apparently we are now live on YouTube. We are preparing. We are now live streaming on YouTube. And I don't want that. Okay, double whammy. Right, so I'm just going to share this link in a few places. We'll get some people online. Coming from you from a new location this evening for both of us. Okay. So little Lex is asleep, is he? Bless him.
Yeah, he's we're in the van now, so he loves it. Back in his nice little camper.
Cozy spot. He loves it so much.
Right, let's see who we've got online. Let's have a look. Welcome, people. Hey, Gav. Hey, Donna. Could you guys let me know if you can hear us okay? We're in a different location. I am in a kitchen. And Josh and Michelle are on the road.
In the van.
Yeah, on the road. Can you hear us okay, guys?
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hi, beautiful souls. Hi, Angie.
Good day, sister.
Good evening. Hi, Tina. Sound okay? Excellent. Thank you, Donna. You're a star. Beautiful. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. And I'd really appreciate it, as ever, if you can do me a favor and then let's share this into as many groups as possible so we can get quite a few of us online. That would be amazing. Excellent. Okay. People are coming on, which is brilliant. So welcome, guys. Lovely to see the beautiful X family. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. How are you both?
Great. Thank you for having us.
Very well. Thank you so much.
You're both looking lovely now.
Yeah, we're parked at the beach and we can see the wonderful sea as we chat to you tonight. So it's a pleasure as always. Thank you for having us.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Every week or every other week, I really look forward to these conversations. So much gnosis, so much knowledge. And I just feel, hopefully our audience are feeling that too. The more they implement the virtues into their life, the better life gets. And tonight we are talking about temperance. And I'll be totally honest, I was like, what does temperance mean? So could you guys explain temperance and what it actually means? Ooh, have I lost you? Oh, no. Okay. We seem to have a temporary glitch. Michelle and Josh have gone. So let's hope that they come back. Just give us a minute. Good evening, guys. See you all there. Hi, Claire. Hi, Tina. Hey, Adian. Hey, Sasha. Sound is good. I've just lost my guests, but that's okay. Organic intelligence. What a fantastic handle. Lovely to have you with us. Hello, Sasha. Hello, Fly on the Wall. Hi, Lacey. Hi, Tina. Hi, Angela. Hi, Adina. So, guys, we're just going to wait for Josh and Michelle to come back on. Here we go. You're back.
Sorry about that. We didn't know if it was us or you, but we are here now. So thank you for waiting patience.
There we go. We're applying the virtues all the time, aren't we? But so, could somebody explain, please, what temperance means for me?
I will try to give a brief, quick explanation. If you look at the word temper, it's kind of a scale. And what we're trying to do here is to stay in the middle of the scale. So we're trying to create balance in all situations with all things that are in our awareness. And as we grow our awareness, we become aware of more things that we must balance. I will leave it there for now.
So it's about the merging of the polarities. So we're trying to draw everything back into the heart space and live in the love and not the fear. So we're trying to, go towards more of connecting with our heart space energies and freeing ourselves from that, that blockage of the fear, and leave that behind.
And the main focus of this, I would say, is going to be on the mind. Because even though we may try to bring things into balance in the physical, this is all going to come back to our mind state. And this is what truly needs to be brought into balance. So we'll start to express this as we go on with the conversation. So it's essentially balance.
Balance in the aunts.
Yeah, the temperance.
So balancing the mind and experiencing balance in every single situation, in every single area of life.
Which would essentially be balancing your spiritual nature with your physical nature to be able to be in contact with the self or as the self.
If we look at it in terms, if you look at it in terms of the body, is about what we spoke about last time with the temples, really starting to bring everything back into that neutral line and not be pulled too far towards either side, and just really try and bring it back to that center balanced state, and be calm, still and present with every moment, and then really try and focus on letting go of any attachments that try to grab on, and just really trying to keep that neutral state of being.
So balancing the left and the right hemisphere as well of the brain.
Yeah.
Your body is a temple, and that's how we need to treat it, like what we speak about with the food and the higher vibrational beings. The denser you are, the harder you'll find that pull each time. So you've got the anger, the rage, and the way that you can overcome these things is bringing you all back to that neutral state again of the balance, and that works every time with all of the virtues.
And that's why temple has a relation in the phonetics as temperance, because it's all related here. I'm balancing yourself to see from the mind's eye. If we just bring in something, for example, with food, we'll just say with food, it's not about balancing the food essentially, because we know to bring harmony with our body, there's a certain type of food that's being created for us to bring balance. So that's one side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we can almost become obsessive with food. Now, there's one thing being obsessive, for example, with fruit. If we know that our body requires fruit, that's a fact. What we don't want to do is bring our attention to the obsessive nature of our mind, which is then gonna over focus on this subject, which then takes us out of balance, because we now bring the mind in, and the mind's focus is here rather than the real aspect of dissolving the mind, the thought, and all of its functions. So we always return back to the mind in this state. So we must bring balance from the mind trying to overstimulate itself.
When you talk about that is like the OCD, a lot of beings struggle with OCD, and that's not just with food, but with behavior. They like things to be in a certain place at a certain time, and OCD can really take over beings, and that's kind of like a compulsive feeling that you get within. And this is what the virtues, the Virtuous X Life will help with, is really letting go of all of those feelings and attachments that are just part of, is all meant.
You get pulled one way or the other, and you find yourself becoming very automatic, unconscious.
I think what we are aiming for with temperance is like a peacekeeper almost. Like you want to keep that peace and that calmness, that stillness inside. So if a situation does arise, you know that you can deal with it effectively, and you've got the tools and the keys to help to release all of that, pent up sin that you've got inside, all those demons, those thought demons, and really know how to let go of it in that present moment.
So what, because this sounds to me like continually going with the flow, like not letting anything take you out of your flow state. And now, so why do we want to do that? Like, bringing it down to really basic, like, why don't we want to be kind of trying to control things? And what's the benefit, I suppose, of being?
The body loves nothing better than homeostasis. That's our home, homeostasis. It wants to be at complete balance the whole time, and there's no rocking of the boat, and you don't feel giddy with all of this information or all of these thoughts that are coming up. A lot of beings think for other beings as well, so they have these thoughts that, oh, is someone thinking that of me, or am I doing the right thing? What the expectations that are there time? And the balance, if you can bring yourself to the balance and really speak from the heart and the truth,
there's no thought,
there's nothing else that needs to be worried about or be fearful of. If you're speaking your truth at every present moment, and you're bringing yourself always back to that center space, there is no rocking of the boat, and it's not pulling you this way and pulling you that way. We just are. It just is.
As a part of our evolution, we're here to dissolve the mind and the ego and all of its functions. So the only thing that creates the unsettled nature of our being, the activation of our energy centers in a way that we feel blockages, is because of the content of thought, thinkingness, and then attaching this to the emotion. And to be free from that, you must bring balance. If we look at it metaphysically, we talk about a torus, everything would be atomic energy. Everything is atom. Everything is torus. For a torus field to be balanced, which is as it reciprocates, in the perfect state of balance, it releases light. And the goal of you here is to remove mind, the ego, and the identity, to become born again as you were, just observing life without any interpretation of it, without having any desires, any expectations, any of these things here, because they're the things that create torment. So to liberate yourself from them, you must constantly bring balance to the state of just pure observation. Otherwise, you feel pain body, you feel stressed, you feel depressed, you feel tired, you feel all these anxieties, and it just continues to flow. So the temperance itself is just constantly maintaining the focus on the mind, and then bringing it to a neutral state so it doesn't interpret life.
There is like overstimulation and understimulation. So these are the two poles as well. Like a lot of beings feel like they're going to get a lot of love or appreciation or acceptance if they've got material possessions or lots of money or the power of some kind, and this is like overstimulation in one area,
and the expectation of an event.
And it'll create such a massive, like we spoke of last time, it'll create like a big increase. Someone will win an event or win lots of money or gain what they wanted, and then there'd be a massive crash on the other side waiting for them, and they'd be like, well, I've just achieved this, and now what?
Like Tyson Fury. I don't know if anybody's aware of Tyson Fury. He won this heavyweight title, and he wanted to commit suicide because he reached the pinnacle of all pinnacles from his childhood dream, but he wasn't stable enough to be able to continue with it.
So the mind, if you can bring it back to that center and keep it, balanced in all areas and all aspects, then you'll never have these crashes, these peaks and these troughs. So this is how the energy, when the energy is activated, you would never get that pull from either direction.
Well, I think also as well that that idea that something's going to make us happy, some type of achievement or some type of material possession or some type of goal is going to be the answer to all of our prayers, is also a bit dangerous thinking.
This is why we have to do the inside work. And when Michelle was saying the over and under thing, the over obsession and being under obsessed, they're both functions of the mind and the ego. You see, some people may say, oh, I don't worry about food because that creates worry about food. But again, that's the trap from their egoic identity, saying that they don't need to worry about these things when nothing even needs to be said. It's about that pure clarity and just being in that present moment, which is the balance of all things. And you cannot get a greater gift than to be free from the sway of the mind.
Yeah, and I think, you know, this is a lifelong practice, isn't it? In the sense of there's so many things that can knock us off kilter, you know, on a daily basis. And, you know, like I was recording YouTube videos yesterday, and could I get Zoom to work? And I was getting more and more frustrated, and I thought, right, I just need to stop, because this is, you know, there's no point getting frustrated with it. There's no point kind of losing my center, basically. It's just the universe saying, okay, do something different. Stop working.
You see, do you want to say something?
I know.
If what we need to return to is this born again baptism state. To be born again is to be the baby, is to have no idea of what's happening. And every moment that is presented to you is new, is brand new. So in that state of awareness, there is no possibility of getting frustrated, because you're having an expectation that something should be working for you in a faster way, which is causing the mind to then have this expectation, which is then creating the energy inside of you. So if you were to just turn a computer on and you didn't know anything about it, you're walking through the jungle and a computer was there and you had no idea what it was, you turned it on, you'd be so amazed. This is the constant state of amazement that one can find when they reach this state of homeostasis. Right. This is how life will be for those who truly seek this life. Because to be virtuous in all situations is to be free, is to be love. And if someone focuses their life on this, like they have done with their maybe sports and things like this, maybe 1 to 2 years of really focusing on the mind and how it works and what it does, you will find this freedom, you will find this space, but you must put your effort in, and you must, you know, this is the hardest thing that anyone could ever do. This is why it's hard to achieve.
I think the trap
going to be showing people, isn't it, in the program, is how to do that, to really integrate. Because I think it's one thing to kind of have these conversations, it's another thing to live it and really experience it. And, you know, the reward is why we came, isn't it, really? This is the work we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
the great work. Yeah, I think the main traps are the programs that we've been set with, you know, from what we've seen and experienced, or from our peers or our parents and stuff. That, you know, the programs that are inserted are the things that we need to gradually undo and like free ourselves from, and then just look at it as a completely new experience. Like Josh said, like a baby would look at something and be, you know, truly amazed and live in that present moment. Whereas, you know, as we become older and more programmed, we become pulled out of that situation and be thrust into something that, you know, not a lot of beings get the intricate detail.
We live through the interpretation of the mind rather than the present moment. So the mind.
How do you do that with little X? Because obviously, you know, that's one of the things. You don't want him to have any programs.
Yeah, but he teaches us. So so we observe how he is, and he's so in the moment. When, you know, little children are of a certain age, they pick up something and be, even if it's a stone, like he's finding pebbles on the beach at the moment, and every pebble he's like, "Mummy, Daddy, look at this one, how beautiful it is," and he's picking out, but, you know, so his presence is there.
He'll ask all the time that this is happening, this mind is speaking, and he says, I just a minute ago he did it before he went to bed. I don't listen to it, I just block him. And that's what he says. He goes like, I just block him like this, Dad, pretend you're my ego, and I say, okay, I'm a bat, and he goes, don't.
And he said, I put an X in the way. I put the balance there.
And really, this is what it is. As you focus on something, you say you're going for a walk with your dogs, and you're walking through, and you realize your mind's interpreting the walk. You have an expectation of that experience. You challenge the mind, and you bring it back to this center by taking away the ability to listen to its interpretation. And over time, this brings balance, and then you start to be able to focus on the very moment that you're in. And then there's a field of energy that opens up, and you get this subtle but very strong sense of aliveness. And you feel the vibration that your body is, and then you become, it's almost like you're really inside this this computer game, and you don't know what's happening around the next door. You're just looking at it. It's a wonderful state.
Well, that's something our listeners can practice on a daily basis, pulling yourself back into the present, and like you said, having no expectations and just letting go. It's like a continual, I think I say this every week, but every week it dawns on me, I just need to let go more. Let go.
Yeah.
If you think about with practice, we learn from our experiences and like repetition.
We are them, aren't we?
If we're repeatedly trying to bring ourselves back to this present moment, eventually it will be automatic for us, just like something like driving would be. Initially, it's like, oh, I've got to put my foot on the clutch and then change again, and then actually automatically you'll just be driving one day without even thinking about, I have to do the steps to get there. The steps will no longer be there, and you will just be it. So the practice makes it achievable.
I've found it much like when I, obviously I came from anxiety and depression, and the more kind of work I've done on myself, the less there's going on up here.
Yeah.
And I've really noticed that difference. Like there's not so much going on up here now.
Yeah,
in a good way.
There's this wonderful saying is, you got to lose your mind to find your soul.
Oh wow, that's powerful.
You have to lose your mind. You really do. This is why the Matrix says, have you lost your mind?
Yes, I am.
You must lose your mind to find the space that is true. And this is the great work. This is what every single religion has been pointing to. This is what all of the great occultists have tried to put into symbolism. This is the thing that is the ultimate truth that we should all seek, because this is the evolution of ourself. This is the removal of the phi cycle, the phi cycle, and all of the elements that are attached to it. We have these elements, the five, the four earthly elements, and the one etherical one. And these will be presented to you through the course. I guess it's not for now because it's quite in-depth explanations, but it is all to do with the wonderful golden triangle. And this is the true documentation and the mathematics that allow the union of the information to be brought in a way that it was hidden to us for so long. But we are presenting it through this system, so one can just apply it in a simple way in practice without having to go on the search, which is going to be quite confusing, especially with all of the hearsay and untruths about the truth.
So that's the aim, isn't it, of the program, is to really break this stuff down so it is kind of really palatable and manageable for people to implement into their life, and they don't have to, well, obviously it's the benefit of your seeking that other people can then really kind of speed up their own evolution.
Yeah. It's all about your evolution. It's all about your evolution here on this earthly plane. There are infinite dimensions that exist past this one, but to be able to gain access to them, we must raise the awareness past a certain level. When you raise your awareness past a certain level, your body holds this charge that's so extreme that the body cannot survive with this. Then you are entering into a different space. You will see these things. You will be given the eyes as you progress up this ladder. It's not something that your mind can fathom. It is it's the experiencer that will know.
And that comes when you collapse the ego, is that right?
Yeah.
You need to express yourself freely and like
Honestly.
really express the truth. Because I think a lot of beings that feel this and really know this feel a little bit afraid to speak out, just because it's against the flow. The masses are always the bigger side, and beings tend to feel a little bit like silenced, and you don't have to feel like that anymore. A lot of beings are stepping out and really going against the grain now, and a lot of people with power are really stepping out.
And we need to direct that the search back into ourselves, to see that the world external to us serves a great purpose, and the purpose of the world will always be there within this realm. We need to overcome the realm
and have compassion and love for all sentient beings, and that everyone, we are one.
I think that's kind of I feel like that's one of our missions, is to help make that more of a well-known fact, because at the moment I still feel that this Leo Aquarius age, everything is shifting and we are going into a different time on the planet. And there isn't a kind of personal sovereignty being reclaimed by humans. But at the same time, I don't think many people are aware of actually all of this is just a distraction, and actually what we have to do is back ourselves.
So you said it, consciousness was flowing through, you say the personal. Now, the personal comes back to the identity that you believe that you are this body, this mind, this function that's here. If we're looking to evolve past this, we truly need to take apart ourselves to come to the realization that this doesn't really exist. It was all a concept from the mind, and we need to evolve ourselves past this, which may be hard to fathom for some people because they feel so identified with the physical nature. But this is where we're here to help you unveil that side, to be able to see past this physical nature and move yourself into a space that you can see the energy and how everything is working within this wonderful space that we exist.
Well, this is what you were talking about, I think, in episode 1, and then you realize how you can interact with that energy, and you can basically make that energy, play with that energy, and make it be sunny when you arrive in a new place.
Yeah. And we were having this discussion on our Q&A yesterday, and I won't say who it is, but it was they were struggling with patience, and they were asking how they could have a tool to deal with patience. And we'll just bring this in because it's very simple and it helps in all situations, because it's about temperance with patience.
They come very close and hand in, they all do.
This is the temperance works of all virtues, because you need to bring them all back into this balance or this stasis. When someone was getting ready to say to go to the shops, they said they're very active and they're very quick in what they do, but they get very impatient with their partner because it's not the same. So the expectation of their partner trying to hurry, which is causing the impatience and the anger that comes along with it, needs to be left alone, because that is the mind and its function trying to run it. To live true to the self in that moment would be to actually just get up and go to the shops without trying to impose your will on someone else, because imposing your will on the other person not only causes an aggravation within the identity of the other being and separation and small arguments, it makes them feel oppressed. But if you chose just to get up and go, when you're in the car driving down the road, you'll probably come to the realization from the heart space that all you wanted to do was actually go with your partner, but the mind itself was speaking so much that it take away the heart space. And then when you go, the partner will then realize that maybe I should have been a bit quicker because I really wanted to go with her. Now, if you express yourself honestly in all situations, you correct the balance, and then harmony will come into your life. But because you don't express yourself honestly and you react through the mind, all of these reverberations happen, and your relationship doesn't necessarily work in the flow that you wanted to.
Isn't there a counter to that, in the sense of like just letting go? Like, say for example, in that instance, rather than him going to the shop by himself, he could have just let go and let go, and then not get attached to the fact that she was taking a long time? Or so there are two ways to handle it.
It comes with mastery. For someone to truly let go, it becomes easier over time. So once you've had that experience, you're kind of allowing the demon of the thought form that manifests through the nature of wrath or anger or impatientness, and then you become free from them. So the virtues allow you to become slow and steadily free from the thought forms that exist through the nature of sin.
If you look at the opposing sin of temperance is gluttony. Gluttony is like a glutton for punishment. So what it is, it's you're punishing your mind. You're being punishment, but being a glutton, like being greedy or being over consuming in some way, or overpowering, or the OCD comes in. This is where when you look at the gluttony as the other side of temperance, when temperance says, oh, we're bringing you back into that center or that midpoint, this is when we're bringing that back and, really trying to deal with that gluttonous moment or that overindulgence of some kind.
Nice. Okay, so just to recap on what we've said so far, and I think then you've got some stuff you prepared, haven't you, for tonight as well. But so what we're basically saying is temperance is all about having balance in the mind, and also making sure that we are balanced in every area, every interaction, basically enabling us to stay balanced throughout our life and not letting the mind pull us into scenarios or situations that pull us off balance. And that is the reason we do that is because it enables us to connect to obviously this higher energetic plane, and be true to ourselves, but not shut ourselves down by being pulled off kilter.
I see it. I always look at temperance as the peacekeeper. Okay. It's a nice one to like the center is very much linked to the heart chakra and the energies that the heart chakra gives off, the love and the fear. So it's a very nice centered virtue.
Could you imagine being in any situation and not interpreting it, and someone shouting at you, but yet you just looking at it as if you didn't know what was happening, with no energy centers activated, with no emotion, no content. You didn't have any expectation of this situation, and then you just carried on like a bee pollinating the flower. You just were there experiencing it.
Well, I suppose in that scenario, if you had no expectation and this angry man was shouting at you, and you were just looking at them and thinking, why is that crazy man? You wouldn't even have that conversation in your head, would you? Just be observing it.
And that is achievable.
Wow. And we're going to be showing people, aren't we, in the program, how they can apply temperance in each area of their life. So we're going to go through the different areas that you might find yourself in, your partner, your children, your workplace. And just show people how they can really...
When you're alone and you start to have these raging thoughts, or you might have fears and worries and these types of things, how to simply bring yourself into a state where you can overcome them. And with constant practice, you will become very free very quickly. And that is the key. All these emotions, all this bipolar state, bipolarism is a natural state of man's evolution, to have two poles. The identity, the ego, the thoughts, and then this consciousness or the conscience.
We need to merge them, balance them.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the goals, isn't it? Pardon?
Sorry, sister. Would you like to continue?
Sorry, we cut out. I was just going to say that's one of the goals, is to make it very practical, down to earth, so people can integrate it and really feel the benefit of living this way.
Step-by-step guide.
This is where I was just saying with Pinocchio. Pinocchio did this. He was a wooden boy. He was, I guess, not truly alive.
A puppet.
Controlled by his desires and the strings that were attached. And then he had to live virtuously, which was to, stop smoking. And if you remember, within the film, he had a devil and a conscience. And when he was able to bring these together and master them, the fairy godmother gave him life. And this is what will happen to you.
But every time he told the truth, his nose would go back down, and every time he told a lie, it would grow. So this was the virtues.
No C. Nose.
Wow. And that was based on what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
He became a real boy at the end when he told the truth and mastered his universe.
The truth will set you free.
Mm.
You must express yourself honestly in all situations, even if it's just a dinner table with friends. If you do not wish to partake in any type of food, it doesn't mean that your friends will judge you. Most people judge themselves about the expectation of what their friends will think about them. If you choose not to express yourself honestly at that period of time and you succumb to the energies of other forces, you will manifest a demon, which is the removal of oneness, and you will find thought forms heavily oppressing you. And it's these thought forms that cause suffering. This is mankind suffering. No other form will cause you suffering apart from thoughts.
And I say to the Dharma Life Academy guys, I say you can express yourself virtuously and honestly in a polite way. It doesn't have to be confrontational. You know, it can still be you're expressing yourself in your from a heart place.
Yeah. Don't allow the mind to take over. Just be yourself, and that's the key. To be yourself in all situations, and you'll find so much peace on this journey.
I think, you know, the mind is thinking for yourself and others a lot of times, like, what's the other person going to think or feel, and what am I thinking or feeling? And you get so caught up with this snowball of information that your brain's trying to convey to you, that just slow that ball down, reverse, and just really take a step back and think, right, nothing's affecting me. This is now, this is here, and nothing's actually happening. You know, we can't control the situation. If that's their thought, then that's their thought, and they have to then go and deal with that in their own way.
This is the word issue, because it's you and it's them. It's whatever they think is up to them. But by you acting in the truth, not only will you set you free, you give them an opportunity to free themselves as well.
Liberate both of you at the same time.
It ripples around the universe. Because if you all know what it's like, if you're sat in a restaurant and someone's being rude and someone speaks up, you're like, oh wow, that was wonderful. I'm glad someone spoke up.
Feel a sigh of relief.
But if we all doing that, liberate ourselves from every single moment. The mind wants to be able to attach, to identify, to be able to interpret, but we need to bring balance. We need to remove the mind to come back into the state. Constant correction until it.
Brilliant. Right. And do we have some numerology this evening, or do we have some other wonderful stuff that you've prepared? Oh, perfect! Look at that.
Can you see? Yeah. So we've got Temperance, and it is the 100.
Wow.
The complete 100%.
Percent means per is each, and cent means 100. Each 100, and cent comes from sentience or sentient life, which is the expression of life itself.
And when you get to 100 years old, you're called centenarian. So the Aryans again. So yes, all of the different words there, you can see that link to 100.
Right.
So you've got the balance, and you know, it's just totality. It's the full circle. And you know, if we've got the 50% of one side and the 50% of the other, and we take it back to the center, we've got the full complete 100. And this is again what temperance is, the meaning of temperance, like we spoke of just now with the heart space. It really does show you that that is the totality and the center of, you know, all of the virtues there. But you know, the computer, on the flip side, the computer coding is made up of the binary coding, the ones and the zeros. So we don't want to get lost in that world of the matrix. We really want to try and focus on bringing ourselves back to that center space again. The physical.
T20 You have the physical electromagnetism of each. And electromagnetism is only found through the perfect balance and reciprocation of the field. This is the alpha ending, seeing the ether. And this is moving past the middle, which is creating an ether balance. But if you just remove this word for now, we'll just keep it on the first bit, because you'll see onts in many, many things. It's the physical electromagnetism of each. Per is each. It's the light of the ether reciprocation of the full magnetism. We know one per child is one each child. EM together represent electromagnetism. T is the physical. So the true nature of the temperance is your physical electromagnetic field, which needs to be brought into balance to free the light. This is why the Kundalini and all the energies of positive and negative only get activated through balance, because it's all reciprocated, and light will be projected at that point of balance.
If we look at the one on its own as the A, or the alpha, it's all one or alone. So the AL is the matter, so the material side, and the one, so we've got the all one alone, and then the 2 zeros next to it, the void, they are everything that is, like the creation. So
it's the torus together, you see, if you just see one side and the other.
Yeah.
So when we bring all of these together collectively, they actually enhance each other. So, you know, when you say like 100-fold, 100 times or 100 times over, it's like they really enhance each other. So when we bring this word together, or the virtues together as a whole, this is when we really enhance the flow of energy through those chakras that we were speaking of last session. And when we can really release that light, the 144,000, and shine that crown, then that's when we really know that we have, you know, released our function here and become one with the unity, the as above, so below.
If you love symbolism, words, language, and numbers, you'll see that everything is synchronized. This one here, if these two get joined, this would sit this way and create the inertia plane on a magnetic field. So that's separated, the 100, which means the complete cycling of life. Put them together, you reciprocate as a magnetic field.
And become the pure. We go through some of this, Eloise, on some of the numerology that I've been sending you on the videos as well. So I really break it down a lot more. And then obviously Josh is going to do some on the actual virtues himself as well with you. So on the actual course, we'll be given a lot more in-depth gnosis about, you know, how to link it into everyday steps and how to become a lot more virtuous with the life path, the journey that you're on.
Purity. I love the word pure. P-U-R-E, the light that you are. And then the ether at the end. And purity brings you back to this state.
A holistic approach to everything is what we're trying to guide you through.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. Fantastic. 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 So kind of piece of homework for people this week. What would you suggest? Kind of trying to sort of continually bring them back to this.
I would say try to spend time focusing on the mind and the way that it functions and how it tries to pull you out of center. Don't let it focus on anything. Bring yourself center back to this balance of this very moment that exists.
And remember that the actual tests that you're receiving from the universe are there to teach you. So we need to look at it as, right, we failed that test last time. Now the universe is going to give us another little test in the same area of a different kind to see if we're actually evolving in the way that we should be to get to where we want to be, because what we know is right.
But it's a projection from yourself. And you may not really get to this perception until you reach past this, but all is being projected from you for the experience to help overcome these scenarios to free yourself. And if they go ignored, you continue suffering, they experience and get lost within the physical. That's why it's here. That's why it's called Babylon, because it be able on. Enabling yourself with the right side of your brain is to live righteous, and to live righteous is by the virtues. And these virtues allow the merging and the activation of the right side of the brain, which is becoming the matter and spirit, the Israel.
And remember that the matrix is only there to test you, and it is a guide in a way, because that's causing, even though you feel like it might be causing you like the bad side and the hard times and the hardship, is actually teaching you to become what you are progressing to be and climbing that ladder.
This purpose of this realm, it does serve a great purpose. The realm, if you look at the word realm, R-E-A-L, real, M. You see the E and the A, which is the red and the blue within inside of the word. You're trying to activate your inner light. You are a physical representation of energy that is trying to balance itself to become everlasting. This is found through the Taurus. We've all been taught through our experience within the commercial world that perpetual motion does not exist. It exists very much in your everyday experiences with life. You are a very thing that can bring that into your own existence. Everlasting life.
Everything, literally everything that's happening for us is for us. Literally everything is happening for us, and it's all to try and show us and bring us back to balance.
Yeah, everything.
It's just a help guide. I think with one more thing about temperance is again what you beautiful beings could bring into your everyday journey or your everyday situations is temperance is really about like mixing and blending. So if you want to help your energy field as well, bring other energies in to help progress them on their journey or make them feel like they're loved and wanted, the compassionate side as well, and really bring their talents out, because it helps you if you see someone in absolute joy because you've helped them out doing something, or even giving them some poetry or sending them some love or energy. It really helps to bring out their natural gifts as well, and together you can blend.
Shine.
Yeah, and people come out of their shell and they really reciprocate the energy back to you as forms of a little angel.
People feel comfortable when you be yourself, because everyone can sense when they're not being themselves. And it brings truth to the situations that surround you. So if you are your greatest version of yourself, or you can become yourself, every interaction you have will always be with someone else as themselves.
And we see this every day, like our little next door neighbours here that have got their camper next to us. They're leaving shortly, and he had a bit of rosewood, and he sat there this rising carving out a little gift for us to give, because they were so touched that we just used to drop them round little orange juices and little smoothies to help them on their journey, to help with their healing and stuff. And he just sat there for a few hours and carved us out a little wooden statue, and it was beautiful. And that's an energy reciprocation there, and we've got a couple of little angels sat with us now. So lovely to see.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying and what you mean. It's like seeing people and praising them for the amazing things that they do kind of makes people rise and want to
but that's why it's called praise, sister. Listen to the word. It says raise. And then P represents light. So you raise light with praise.
You're raising the light within them. And that's the true gift of like the creation. What I said about earlier with the be compassionate and loving to all sentient life. It's down to the smallest creature, up to the human beings, and we should be evolving in this way, and not trying to hurt and control and suppress. It's actually really liberating when you can feel this love and light shining within everyone.
To dominate, you see min, which is minimum 8. This is the lowest form. And a couple of words were said that I would like to share, because as people speak, I don't want to focus too much on the language, but it's so incredible.
Yeah, we like it.
But as you say help, yeah. Oops. I'll just write it down here for you as we speak. As you say help, the words are giving you the instructions. Now, H is a vibration, it's 8, okay? If we translate, sorry about this. There we go. And then you have EL, which is the original word sound for God, L, and L is number 12.
In the alphabet.
Yeah, L is number 12 in the alphabet. P is light, as we just said. If you wanted any help, the word is telling you it's the vibration of L, light.
Remember this one we spoke of, the light last time, the 144? Level, the L's, the 12s, and the 144 is the light.
And then you said talent, and talent, if you just see the word TA, which is alpha, and then lent, you get your talent. Lent is to abstain, the physical alpha. Abstain the physical alpha to get your talent. You have to remove the physical alpha wave, left brain function, ego. This is why ego is spelled go, because you must go to the EL, not the AL.
Wow.
So, and the web of awareness that is out there for us all to connect with is inside of each and every one of us as light, as photons, and there is nothing that cannot be found that's a part of awareness that's not inside of you.
Wow.
It is all in you.
I think the another good one to focus on, just briefly before we go, the breath work. It really helps to stabilize you as well. If you can, we're focusing on it at the moment with our Patreons, but the breath and the control of the breath will stop all of the anxious feelings, and it really bring you back to that present moment. And if we can let go of the things that distract us and pull us to the other side, like the endless scrolling on our phones, and the technology is a really big one for a lot of beings that are pulled away from the present moment of like the breath work and the yoga and the meditation. They find it hard because they feel like they haven't got time to do it.
Yeah.
And yet when you pick up your phone, it's like an automatic, and then an hour is gone and it's like, oh wow, I haven't actually,
balance your time on the phone. Spend more time.
The time spent within is better than without.
Yeah, spend more time on this computer.
Absolutely.
And activate this rather than spend more time searching, because as you search external to you, I can honestly say that 99.9% of the time you're going to be unveiling the lies,
the rabbit holes,
hearsay and untruth,
and it just unbalances you and pulls you out of temperance,
because it's not vibrating very much. But if someone else thinks it, then there must be something to it, and then really you just start to get confused.
in the rabbit hole. Yeah. Wonderful, guys. Fantastic as ever. Really amazing. Thank you so much. A few comments in the chat saying, how can we help the Josh X family? Come and do the Virtuous Life with us. Because the more we balance ourselves, the more we balance the planet, basically.
Yes, and to bring balance back to the planet, there's a few simple remedies that we have. We see the logistics with all things. Right now, we just haven't been in a position to create much PR for us, but working with you and working alongside each other, I feel like this year is going to be able to allow that. But what we need to do, if anybody's listening, has the power and connection to do so, is just to start creating these non-profit organizations rather than for-profit. And we create trust within them. So first we may start with food, and this is what we're looking to do. If people are living in England, such as yourself, and you need to import food, and this is what the local supermarkets are doing, and then they create such a big profit that it becomes expensive. But why wouldn't the million people that were marching in London that time that you said, if everybody put in £100, that's £100 million. We could then set up these organizations that take no profit, and then people will still get paid a decent wage, but there will be no huge directors that take 20, 30, 40 million pounds. So the food price, instead of paying, you know, £5 for a box of strawberries, you'd be paying 50p. And then everybody reduces this, and you're not feeding the machine.
It's the opposite way around to how it works right now, isn't it?
You don't feed the machine. If this system will only fall or change by boycotting. So everybody that's asking for it to change, who's in the centre of London, they just need a slight bit of direction to say, do you know what, spend your time wisely and let's work together, because we all have this common goal. Why don't we create a shareholder non-profit organization where we import our own food? And then in every town we have a distribution center. With that 100 million, you could easily do that. And then you move forward, and you move forward to
so you're basically taking your money out of circulation and using it to create what you want moving forward.
Yeah. And we know that that's the righteous choice, but I think, you know, the coming out of that comfort zone again is a difficult step for many beings, and this is why we spoke of growing your own food last session, because, you know, a few people on our Instagram have just said, well, I live in an apartment and I can still grow my own food. And it's just lovely to see that beings stepping forward and taking the journey into their own hands, rather than relying on the corpses to supply them with the food that's actually not up to standard at all and hasn't been loved and nurtured, and the energy's not good around it. So it's really nice to see that everything's changing, and even those small steps are massive in the grand scheme of the whole energy system of it being reciprocated.
Well, let's talk about that afterwards as well, because I think we could set something up online and give some people a platform to donate with, and, you know, set out the parameters and explain what it is. And that's something we could then go out with the connection.
Everybody's a beneficiary. Anyone who precipitates would be a beneficiary and get access to these foods, for an example. And I think once we're able to hit mainstream with something so logical, because unfortunately when people are identified with the ego, the thought is not original. And it's hard to bring in original thought, so people cannot have the insight or the sight to see these things. But it's really that simple. What you need to do is abstain from maybe some things that you may like to do, go out, eat out, and just once. And then
it's £100. It's not.
Oh my God, you can create something with the power of these people so profound. All the traveling systems, everything that everybody desires. So it's just small.
This is where we're going, guys. So please come and join us in the Virtuous X Life, because obviously, you know, we're really like trying to sort of help people progress and evolve faster, and also not get lost in the illusion and do the real work and really free themselves. So come join us. And also a big little shout out as well, if anyone's got any connections with podcasts, we would love to get on some podcasts and talk about the virtues as well. So if anyone's got any connections, please let either myself or Josh or Michelle know, because we want to go out and promote the Virtuous X Life as well, so we can get more beings basically opening their energy centers and we can balance this planet. And then the next one we are talking about on the 7th of June is our next show, 2 weeks time. And we're talking about kindness, I think.
Yay. Beautiful.
KIND, which is the balance in form, and for one to be kind is to be balanced.
Beautiful. Can't wait.
Looking forward.
So thank you, all you gorgeous creatures.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Lovely to have you with us as ever.
Enjoy your rest as well, Eloise. It looks beautiful where you are.
Yes.
So
yes, thank you. It's nice to have a little bit of a break and a little bit of holiday. And as I said, the sun has been shining all day, which has been amazing. But
we blew it over for you from sunny Spain.
Thank you so much. So guys, we're going to just say goodbye now. Love you all. Thank you so much for joining. Please share this podcast. We appreciate